Let me introduce you guys. We have the COO, Emily, of Buck Rider here, and we have the CEO, Adam. We're going to talk to him for a little bit. We're going to get to know them. We're going to get to know the restaurant, their newest location out here in Gilbert, and then kind of figure out maybe what is in store for the future with Buck Rider. I'm going to start with you, Adam. Give me a little history on you. Tell me about where you were before Buck Rider became what it is today, what you were doing, maybe your family life, anything you want to share with the listeners for us.
I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, left there. Went and worked for a company called Houston's Restaurants, now known as called Hillstone, really. Worked there for about 10 years, kind of traveled all around the country working for them. And then
The kitchen, or were you in the management side?
both,
Okay.
front and back of the house. Got here to Phoenix and was at Chelsea's Kitchen, running all the LGO restaurants, and then decided to get Buck Rider open.
Restaurants are in your blood.
Oh, absolutely.
Was your family involved in restaurants, or
My-
did you kind of start this?
Yeah, my dad owned a bar when I was a kid.
Okay, so you're familiar with the restaurant.
I am, somewhat. Not as much as Emily here. She's got a much better background in the
Let's start at the beginning. So you had a wild idea to open up your own restaurant.
So I opened the restaurant with a couple partners, and we were part of the family of LGO at one time. We decided we need to focus on Buck Rider and Ingo's to grow them because none of the other concepts were being grown at all. I took over and said, hey, let's take Buck Rider and Ingo's, let's grow them. I'll take over the role of the CEO and take the vision to grow the things. And then that's when I went and got Emily.
And you said what to Emily?
We're going to actually go grow a concept finally.
Yeah.
And we're going to go do this. I'm going to take it national, and we're just going to absolutely kill it. We really had a vision to change the way the restaurant industry goes. I've got a real passion for, the industry. People love it and feel like it's sexy, but it's got a bad reputation of just burning you out. It's hard. It's a lot of hours. So we want to take a very different tack towards it. And the Food Network's done no favors for the business. It's all about this one chef and this one person. And, that person leaves something, and the next thing you know, what are you sitting there with? You're sitting there with a restaurant, and you go, oh, that chef is gone there. And everybody thinks it's about the chef. It's not. There's an army of people that make the restaurants go.
Okay.
And we want to celebrate as a company the people who make it go, because it's not about me. It's not about Emily. It's about, the 600 employees we have.
For sure. And let's get back into that in a minute, because I think that's important. I think people want to hear about that. I want to hear about that. So you guys got together, Buck Rider. That was the focus. You're moving forward with that. So what were some of the struggles in the beginning, would you say? Is there anything that you guys weren't sure about or that you had to overcome? Give me some of these hurdles.
The original Buck Rider opened in 2016. The first set of challenges we had was convincing people in Phoenix that you could get fresh seafood. The landlord at one time, I was sitting with him in his office of the original Buck Rider, goes, Adam, how are you going to do fresh seafood in Phoenix? Everything's frozen. And to me, I was like, that seemed like an odd question because we don't get frozen seafood. We get it from local fish distributors, or we get it from the airport. And at that moment, I knew right then and there that we were going to have to fly all of our seafood in. We have to get it out there and go above and beyond, get everything flown in to get people to understand the quality of the product.
Is that to say that most restaurants do use frozen seafood?
I wouldn't say most use frozen seafood, but I think most use a combination of either frozen seafood or local distributors who are holding seafood. I thought a lot about it, and I said, Ben, what you can do is we can fly the seafood in directly, organize getting it from the airport, and what wound up happening is the seafood came in fresher and less expensive because somebody's not marking it up.
Yeah, because someone's not holding it and then having to store it.
And then
that makes sense.
100%. So we've been doing that ever since, but it is a absolute ton of work. A ton of work.
It's a system. It has to be flawless. I'm guessing.
It's a logistics problem. For example, U10 shrimp, we go through about 2 tons, so 10,000 pounds of shrimp about every 6 weeks. So getting that much shrimp into the city, we're actually trucking it in from Mexico right now, from the Sea of Cortez, just to get the best shrimp we can get in.
So you have multiple sources.
Yeah, all around the world.
But you figured out how to get everything to one spot at a certain time.
We use 8 different airlines, I believe. We're getting stuff from the Mediterranean, New Zealand, Australia, Alaska. We have our own oyster farm up in Alaska, the Northeast, the Gulf Coast, everywhere.
How do you find these connections?
A lot of relationships, a lot of work.
Yeah, I bet.
Well,
that was the first thing to figure out.
Yep. That was the first one. And then getting a really legitimate beef program, because obviously we are in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. So some people just don't like seafood. So we went and decided to get our own beef program. Worked on our own private label beef program, which really helped with that part of the business. We were starting to kick along until COVID. And then that was the biggest challenge. And
that was a huge hurdle for everyone.
Of course, we made this decision to grow the company. And then 2 months after Emily starts in middle of January, she starts middle of January. By middle of March, we were closed. The timing couldn't be any worse.
Yeah, it was a struggle for everyone. So COVID hits. So what happens during COVID?
So I'll let Emily.
Yeah, so COVID hits. We go to all to go, just like everybody else. We decided to kind of revamp the menu a little bit. We did a ton of internal Instagram marketing, which was really powerful. Our goal was to just say, hey, let's see if we can get through COVID and not lose any money. We didn't need to be profitable. We wanted to bring as many people back to work as we could. just survive. So we did that. We were pretty successful with the to-go program. And, we were able to kind of get through it. Adam and I were in there bagging to-go food most nights of the week to kind of get by. And then we came out of COVID and we decided we wanted to double down on the design, on finishing up the menu. We redid the brunch menu, we redid the lunch menu. And we said, if we're going to grow this thing, let's take this time while, we're kind of getting all, back on our feet here to really perfect the concept and get ready to do number 2 and number 3. So we did that, and coming out of
what kind
COVID,
of changes were involved in that, would you say?
At the Camelback location, we redid the whole dining room. We would always felt like the back corner needed new booths and needed to be more cozy. We redid the lighting. We added the split flop board, which we've kind of become famous for, the train station board. So we brought that in because it told everybody, hey, the seafood's this fresh. It's like a train coming and going. You know what I mean? And it turned out to be a really good, fun thing for people to put their birthdays on, anniversaries on. And now it's kind of become a hallmark of the brand. And so we did that, and we spent some time saying, where do we want to have the next one? We found the Mayo site during COVID, really, and decided to explore what that would look like, and ended up doing the lease kind of during the COVID break, and we're ready to build it coming out of COVID. It was a time to just kind of perfect the last 25% of what we felt like the brand needed. Like I said, the lunch menu and the brunch menu was a really big thing. We brought in some live music for brunch, kind of got the whole program amped up, and just rounded out the menu.
So Camelback location does great for lunch and brunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's grown a lot over the last couple of years.
Great. So 2 years later, you open up your second location, give or take?
Just about.
Okay, and that goes up north in North Scottsdale.
North Scottsdale, Mayo, and Scottsdale Road. We decided that we wanted to add private rooms, so that was a new part of the program that we did up there. We invested in a sushi bar, which we have at the Gilbert location here as well, that has been really successful for us, and it was given us an opportunity to kind of expand the happy hour and expand some of the sushi offerings, which people are really into. We ended up opening that one in December of last year, and it kind of was busy from the start, and it was a big hit. And while we were finishing up construction of that one, we had the Gilbert lease signed, and we were excited to come out here. We had met with Joe Johnson, quite a few times, and he really.
Did he have a hand in pulling you this way?
Big time.
Okay.
Single-handedly, I would say.
Yeah.
So he was always a big fan of Buck, and he would come out to the Camelback location and then the Scottsdale one, and was like, we'd really love you guys to come out and see the Epicenter project. At first, we were like, I don't know if Gilbert's the right fit for us, but after seeing, kind of the market out here and starting to understand the whole programming he was going to have out at Epicenter, we were really excited to be a part of it.
So what are you most surprised about in Gilbert, or what kind of were you not expecting?
It's not that different of a clientele. The thing I was surprised about the most was the first couple weeks I was in the dining room a lot, talking to a lot of guests, and everyone was like, we're just really excited to not have to drive out to Camelback and to Scottsdale anymore. And we were overwhelmingly encouraged by how many people already knew the brand out here, already had, traveled, the 30 miles, to get to the other side of town to go to Buck and Rider. And so we were pretty excited about the enthusiasm. That was surprising.
There was a lot of hype built up beforehand.
We were pleasantly surprised how many people had been to the Buck and Rider at Camelback. It was actually shocking because Joe had always told us when he was courting us to come out here, he's like, you don't understand, Adam. Everybody's driving to Camelback to go have a good meal. And he goes, it's a 30, 45 minutes sometimes, and they don't want to do that anymore because there's nothing greater in the East Valley.
It's not.
And I was like, oh, Joe's just telling me that. Oh, it's Joe. I love Joe, but I'm like, I don't know about that. And we started coming out here, and you can't get a feel for it until you're actually open, right? We love the demographic. We love the clientele. We have some friends who have other restaurants out here. Like Craig DeMarco was saying that Postino out here did really, really well. Yeah. Came down to downtown Gilbert. We saw how busy it was. We're like, I think the people out here. So we're like, let's do this. Joe was right on the money. I mean, it was shocking how many people would come to us and go, we went to your Camelback location all the time. We're glad you're out here.
Well, you guys had great success from the get-go, right?
Yeah.
Were you surprised by that, or is that what you expected, or was it beyond expectation?
We knew we'd be busy for dinner. I don't think we knew it was going to be busy every single night of the week, right?
Yeah.
We knew Friday, Saturday nights were going to be busy. We knew Thursday night would be busy, but every single night of the week, we pretty much fill up on reservations.
I believe that. Because I've been there on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and it's all the same as a Saturday, which I've also been there on. So
that's been wonderful to see. The clientele, the guests out here know their food. They absolutely know their food. So if anybody thinks that the East Valley doesn't know food or they're not used to having really high-end restaurants, they couldn't be more wrong.
They travel to go eat.
100%.
And they do want something like Buck out here. And I think
100%.
that was amazing that you guys came out here and hopefully you started the trend.
Yeah.
Let's get some more out here.
Oh, I think it's going to happen pretty
And
quickly.
yeah, so I think it will too. But I'm glad someone took the leap, and I'm glad it was you guys. From what I can tell, amazing so far for everyone that's experienced Buck and Rider. Your personal favorite dish on your menu?
Oh, that's so hard.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you time to think, but I'm putting you on the spot, Adam.
My favorite dish on the menu.
Or give me your top 3. If I'd never had that, and I've been there a couple times, but if I'd never been there, you would say I have to try what?
Well, you've got to get the fish. I mean, it's completely, literally flown in fresh.
Okay.
We don't just say that. And I don't want that to be a cop-out answer, but the fish is really amazing. Specifically, you'll notice on the split flat board, we put where the seafood's from. So
Okay.
we'll put like golden tilefish from Louisiana, right?
Oh.
Or we'll put Gulf red snapper. We want you eating that piece of fish and going, wow, this is what red snapper, and if I was sitting in Florida, the panhandle of Florida,
Yeah, I could take you there.
100%
I
right.
could take you there.
Right? Or golden tilefish. I've never seen a golden tilefish. It's actually one of the best eating fish you can get.
I don't even know what
And
that is.
It's amazing. It's an amazing piece of fish. And you're like, wow, this is as fresh as if I was sitting in New Orleans. The fish is really great.
Okay.
Trophy pasta. I love it. It's house-made chicken, sausage, shrimp. It's a pasta dish. It's really, really great. It's
Okay.
super easy to eat. And the fish sandwich is pretty stupid good, I would say.
I'm
People
gonna have to
absolutely
try
love
that.
it.
I've had my eye on that one actually.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Okay, so any type daily fish, market fish,
And then the
pasta.
bar, right?
and
How do
then-
you go wrong?
I'll ask her a different question then. That way she can give me a different answer. I have a question, a personal problem.
Uh-oh.
So I'd never tried oysters
Okay.
until I went to Buck and Rider a couple weeks ago.
We appreciate your trust.
Yeah, I had to be talked into it.
Okay.
I couldn't find the hype in it. Tell me what I'm missing about oysters. Tell me why people love oysters.
I don't think you can do it wrong.
Okay.
We're not in the business of telling people how to eat it and all that. But
How do you prefer it? Is my question.
I mean, we do have a cooked version now on the menu. If you want to go for that next time, it's got, butter and garlic and all the yummy things on it.
Okay.
It's kind of our take on a Rockefeller that's a little bit lighter. The raw oysters, I just think, if you get the right oyster, to me, like my favorite are kind of the cucumbery, briny ones. You kind of got the taste of the ocean, which you have to enjoy.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, but I think it's fun to be able to, like, we have 6 oysters on our menu every day. And they are usually from East Coast, West Coast, Alaska. They're all over. They all really follow the flavor profile of where they're grown. And so, it's kind of like wine, where it's grown and how it's made and all that really can influence the flavor. And the oysters are no different. So I just think what's unique about them is that you can, it's the same essential, species, but you can have them from different locations and different waters, and they all taste a little bit different.
It's an appreciation you probably have to acquire a little bit.
Yeah,
Much
it's
like wine.
it's an
Yeah, like
acquired
wine.
taste,
Okay.
but some of them are a little cleaner and easier to eat, and some of them are really kind of that salty flavor. We just got to find you the right
Do you
one.
put any toppings on yours?
I like our Thai chili sauce, which
I
is
did
like
have
kind of
that.
a little spicy kind of soy sauce. People like traditional cocktail sauce on them, or anything, but we offer a couple different sauces.
I'm going to give him another shot.
You should.
I think I have to. So I'm coming back to you, Adam. What separates your business or your restaurants from other restaurants? You kind of started in on this and you said, hey, there's a bunch of things that have to be in place or I have to focus on. It's not just a chef that controls a restaurant. Can you tell me more about that?
How do I feel like our company and our restaurants are different
You can
than
start with
most
that. Make it
restaurants?
2 parts. Yeah.
Yep.
Say maybe what you went out or you set out to do differently as a restaurant.
Yep.
And then these are the things I feel are important in my restaurant.
Culturally, you're never done culturally, right? So culturally, we're trying to set a completely different standard where everybody feels like they've got a say, contributes to the organization, and everybody's really responsible for the organization. I think nowadays people, it's not just about the money anymore. It's about the fact that I want to contribute to something and feel like I'm a valued part of the team and that I actually can help. And great if I make great money doing that, but I want to contribute, right? And that was always my angst. I just wanted to do more. I wanted to be able to.
Well, that's
help
more
make
fulfilling
decisions.
than the money at some point.
100%,
Yeah.
right? We got one life to live, right?
Mhm.
And so you can't take the money with you. Who really, at the end of the day, cares about the money?
Yeah, you leave the legacy.
Do something inspiring.
Yeah.
Right? Emily and I feel this way very strongly. Is creating an environment where we're responsible for giving the environment back to everybody else and letting them do whatever they want to do with it. But they have an opportunity. However that opportunity looks for them is what it looks for them. And that's really what's important to us, right? And the restaurant is obviously the vehicle for that. And I wouldn't say the restaurant's secondary. It's primary, obviously, as the vehicle. But culturally and spiritually, that's who we really want to be, right? Is have a great group of people that we enjoy being around every day, that we trust every day, and we want to hang out with. And I think that all shows up in the food. It shows up in the service.
100%.
It shows up in the ambiance.
Yeah, that makes people want to show up to work, put a smile on their face, give great service, and that definitely shines throughout your restaurant. And I think that's how you build a restaurant, right?
That's
I mean,
right.
anything, but especially a
business.
restaurant, because there's lots of pressure, there's lots of personalities, and there's a lot going on.
That's right. And trust is a massive piece of that, right?
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Got to trust.
What is next for Buck and Rider? Do we have any sort of future plans? Do we have any definite or visionary plans?
So we're actively looking outside the state right now. So we're
Okay.
actively looking in Texas, Nevada, and Utah. We don't know which one's going to come up first. It's a tight market, but we want to be very, very selective about what the next location looks like.
And you would rather go out of state rather than put another location in state?
Yeah, I think at some point for the price point that we have and the size of the restaurants, you start diluting them. And what I mean by diluting them is you start peeling off business from existing Buck and Riders.
Mm-hmm.
Strategically, I can't think of another location. You could argue Peoria area could potentially be one. I don't know if we're there quite yet. We like the triangle we have right now: Camelback, North Scottsdale, and East Valley.
I think it's good.
Right? I think they're all
You're hitting
nicely-
everybody essentially.
Yep, they're nicely separated. The next thought is to probably go Dallas or Houston for Texas, unless something comes up in Nevada or Utah.
Is the competition stiffer out there, would you say, as far as business? I know they have a lot of steakhouses and obviously high-end stuff too. So
Yeah, potentially, but we're excited about it. You know, I'm actually stoked about it. I know Emily is too. We want to go have that competition because it's only going to make our game better,
love it.
right?
Yep.
And plus, I got to tell you, nobody's doing what we're doing. I mean, the amount of work it takes to get the seafood in. It's like I tell everybody, I'm like, hey, if you want to try to rip off the concept, go for it.
Yeah, you won't be able to duplicate it.
Yeah, I don't even know how we do it really.
That separates you guys. And yeah, so if that's what you have, then success is inevitable. If you decide you want to come to Queen Creek sometime in the future, I know that Queen Creek is looking for something.
It could be an Ingo's.
What's Ingo's? I don't know what that is.
Ingo's Tasty Food. It's our other concept. One at 40th and Campbell Street in Arcadia, and then there's one downtown right by the basketball stadium.
Seafood as well?
Nope. It's more like a high-end cafe. We make everything from scratch in-house. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Salads. It's got sandwiches. It's got burgers.
Yeah,
Got everything.
Do that out there. That's
Yeah.
Ingo's, okay?
Oh, Ingo's would kill it.
I love Ingo's. The
would
sound
kill
of Ingo's.
We would love to put an Ingo's here in Gilbert.
Gilbert would love that, I'm sure.
Yep.
If you're not eating at one of your restaurants, what other restaurants do you enjoy?
Such a great question. I mean, I've got my go-to. It's Guy Blonde.
Guy Blonde.
Have you been?
Where's it at?
24th and Osborne. Have you not been?
I have not.
It's the best restaurant in
Guy
Phoenix.
Blonde.
They kill it.
Dinner, lunch, either?
Lunch and dinner.
Lunch and dinner.
They do an amazing job.
Is there a dish there that would brag about?
Yeah, I like the rice noodles and I like the minced chicken.
The cow soy, it's like their curry noodle dish. It's just delicious. I don't know. It's the best ambiance and consistent food. And yeah, we're super fans.
Yeah, I got to try it. If you guys love it. Okay, give me another one then.
The vibe of like the Sotis, what they're doing downtown. It's a, this cute little house they've turned into. Great little wine lists, little kind of French aesthetic food and stuff like that. We love
Okay.
that place.
Say the name again.
Sotis.
Sotis. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys foodies around the state? Do you try to intentionally go to different areas and restaurants just to, yes?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's always good to learn. You
Right.
know, it's always good to learn, and you always take something away from it, and it's fun.
Does it
about
help
these
inspire
restaurants.
you at all for your own menu or your own business? Do you find inspiration
yeah.
in doing that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a million things to take away from a good meal, a bad meal, from the
Mm-hmm.
service to the atmosphere to the music to the.
So it's
you
almost
know,
your job to go do this.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's a really fun part of our job, seeing what people are doing on menu design and stuff like that. Our graphic designer, our creative art director, she is in New Orleans, so we get a lot of inspiration from her being out of state and seeing new things. And Adam and I both love to travel, so anytime we can get out of the country or out of the state and just see new things, it's definitely just refreshing to see
Yeah.
how the
Oh,
rest
yeah.
of the world's operating
How often are you guys in restaurant? Every day?
every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Open and close, essentially?
We try to hit a couple restaurants every day. It's really the only way to do it.
Yeah.
It's the best way to learn on what's going on in your restaurant is just to be in them.
Restaurant pet peeve, real quick. Anything stand out? Not just yours, just in general.
Bad music or no music.
Oh, yes.
It's dirty floors, non-clean floors.
Oh, yeah. So
Something
you
is-
study a floor when you walk in.
That's why our kitchens are open. You know how you can see right into our kitchens
Yeah.
at every one of the Buck and Riders, even at the Ingo's. It's open for a reason because I want it to be so clean that you go, oh, I can trust the seafood here. It's clean.
100%.
But you ever walk into a restaurant and it's like stuff all over the floors? And you're like,
Or
I
you
can't even see the
accidentally
kitchen.
catch a glimpse of the kitchen
Yeah.
and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, and
Did
you
you see
can't-
what that was in
Yeah.
there?
You go, wait, there's printer receipts on the ground. What does the kitchen possibly look like?
Yes. No, I 100%
You know?
agree with you on that. For
Definitely,
sure.
definitely clean restaurants.
Hey, anything you would change at the Gilbert location now that you're in and settled a little bit? Is there anything you look back and be like, I would have done that different?
God, God, that's a really great question.
We knew there'd be a lot of large parties out there, and we've got this big, beautiful kind of garden table that,
I've seen
that we're able to house large parties at. But I wish we had a few more great spots for large parties. So we're kind of working on some ideas on how to get it to be a little better for big groups and celebrations.
Because your biggest table aside from that one is what, 6, 8 people?
Can push tables together, so we can do 10s, 12s, and 15s and stuff. But just making sure we have really great spots for big parties.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think mine would be, I think the layout would be, I would make it a little bit different because when we get busy on a Friday and Saturday night, it gets to be borderline unmanageable. And so
I've seen it that busy.
Right. But on a Monday night, it doesn't get as busy. So if the building was cut up a little bit more, you could still keep the vibe really great at all times.
Yeah, it's good now.
Yeah,
but yeah, I could
it's
see that happening at any restaurant. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
You just don't know until you know what your crowd is.
100%.
That's probably got to be hard. Is there anything you guys want to promote? Anything coming up? Any new items?
The time to come, really, in my opinion, is brunch, lunch, and the one I'm most surprised by is happy hour. So happy hour gets busy on Friday, but it doesn't get busy on Monday through Thursday.
And
which
it's a good
we're
happy
surprised.
hour.
It's a
I was
phenomenal-
shocked when I came in. I was like, this is amazing.
That's actually one of the things we're known for. When we first started getting busy out of COVID, we got busy because of our happy hour because it goes from 3 to 7. Full size orders of the food, so we don't shrink the orders of the food. The cocktails are all the signature cocktails.
Yep.
So happy hour is absolutely killer there. Brunch is just a unique brunch. It's a fun place for brunch. And that's part of the reason why we have that patio is to be able to have a really cool brunch area. We really want the place to be that kind of power lunch place. So, where you're going to hang out with your friends or go meet your girlfriends and, get a quick lunch and still be high quality.
And what do you got? Salad, sandwiches,
Yeah,
typical
so we have the
lunch
raw
stuff?
bar,
Yeah.
the sushi. Sushi's big
Okay.
at lunch, obviously, right? So, if you don't want to eat a big heavy meal, you can just get a sushi roll if you want, right? So, but those are the big things is lunch, brunch, and happy hour.
Yeah, I'm going to come try brunch too. What's a popular brunch item?
Shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits are great. They're really
Okay.
good. Cowboy skillet's really good. The steak and eggs. Oh my God, that's the one I'm missing.
Oh, okay, steak and
We
eggs.
have
I'm sold on
the
that.
best steak and
I'm
eggs.
sold on that.
Steak and eggs are great. So 2 new menu items. One called Jimmy and Sally King Crab.
Yeah, let's hear the story.
All right, you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know the story about Buck and Rider and the name Buck and Rider? How it came up?
No, I don't.
Okay,
In fact, you got to tell us that. I should ask that.
Yeah, so Buck and Rider's name came from, it's a slang Southern term. So when I was a kid, I'd go crabbing with my parents, and if you catch 2 crabs on top of each other, it would be called a doubler or a Buck and a Rider.
Okay.
And so that's how it came with the name Buck and Rider.
Awesome.
Right, which is fun. Jimmy and Sally King Crab, everybody's like, well, who's Jimmy and Sally? And it's like, well, a male crab's called a Jimmy and a female crab's called a Sally.
Didn't know that either.
So Jimmy and Sally King Crab.
Okay.
Right. So it's actually a really great dish. We just had those rolled out this week, actually. And then we've got the baked oysters, which are an amazing version of a Rockefeller without all the cream and butter.
Tell us real quick how to find and reach out to Buck and Rider. Is there an Instagram handle? Is there
There is an Instagram
the website,
handle.
phone number, whatever?
Yeah, www.buckandrider.com. We're over there at Epicenter on Ray and Higley out here in Gilbert. So it's 3150 East Ray Road. But best way to get a hold of us is you can call the restaurant. The phone number's on the website, of course, or you can make a reservation on the website as well. So if you go to the website, you can make the reservation. And we do have an Instagram. It's _Rider_Gilbert.
We'll help them out with that. We'll put it up there so that everyone can find it.
Gilbert has their own. Scottsdale has their own, and Camelback has their own. So check out your local Buck and Rider to kind of see what's going on specifically at that store.
Perfect, guys. Thanks so much for coming in. Great information. I learned a
Thanks
lot
so much.
today. Yeah, I was excited to have you guys in, and I'm sure the guests are too. But this is Emily, COO, Adam, CEO. Guys, if you see him in the restaurant, say hi.